Thank you for taking the time to watch this short video on the new Transaction Data Services integration that becomes available with the New Zealand Tax April 2019 release. For several years, APS has provided an ID transaction integration service called Tax Agent Web Service, usually referred to as TORS. This service retrieves the transactions residing in IID's legacy systems for all of your linked taxpayers and uploads them into your APS database. IID has been working for several years on a major project known as business transformation to move from their legacy infrastructure to completely new systems and services, collectively known as START. Taxpayer data has for the past 2 years progressively migrated from IID's legacy systems to the new START infrastructure. As management of tax types such as GST and other withholding tax types has migrated to START, the TORS service has no longer provided details for those migrated tax types. During April 2019, IID is moving all data for the income tax type across to START. As a result, taxpayers' income transactions will no longer be delivered via TORS. Transaction Data Services, or TDS for short, is the name given to IID's new service that provides access to your client's transactions from IID's START infrastructure. It will eventually completely replace the existing Tax Agent Web Service once all residual data held in IID's legacy systems has migrated to START. There are a couple of steps that must be performed to activate the TDS service once the NZ Tax April 2019 release has been installed and the release's version control has been applied. The April 2019 application has a new Tax Agent Console page called Web Page. It is visible to users once their Joe rights have been enabled. Access to this page would typically be restricted to your tax administrator. In Joe Admin, choose the user or profile, and then from the Joe Rights tree list, locate the Web Page node within the Tax Management section of the tree. Double-click the View Allowed and View and Allow Edit options to enable access to this page. Before proceeding to the newly enabled Tax Agent Console page, you need to gather some agent information. For each tax agent in your practice, you need to identify the agent's Client List ID. Client List ID is an IID-issued 9-digit IID number that is required as a primary integration and connection identifier to IID's new START systems. It supersedes the agent IID number IID location pair used by IID's legacy systems such as eFile. Using your agency login, connect to IID's website. Choose the Business tab to navigate to the My Business page. Beneath your login details are a number of tabs. Select the Tax Preparer tab. And from the Agency Management options, choose the Manage Agency link. The Manage My Agency webpage has a Clients Lists section that displays the Client List ID for your agency. Make a note of the client list IDs for the tax agents used in APS. Now that you have the required client list ID information, you need to store it in APS by using the Tax Agent Console and selecting the Web page. You'll need to repeat the following process for each tax agent that has linked clients whose transactions you require. The agent's web page provides a text field into which you enter the 9-digit client list ID. Once the client list ID has been validated by tabbing off the field, the Agent Web View button is enabled. You are now ready to perform the final step of agent registration, instructing IID to send your client's transactions to APS. To do this, open the Agent Web View by clicking the button. This will open your web browser and take you to the Tax Agent web page. If you have not recently logged into a Reckon APS web application, you will be prompted to provide your Reckon APS web user login credentials. Once your login credentials have been validated, the tax agent web page will appear. This page currently has the single purpose of registering your client list ID with IID. Click the Link with IID button to initiate the linking process. The linking process requires you to have an authenticated login to IID using your MyIR user ID code and password. Once successfully authenticated, you will be returned to the tax agent web page, and the request to link this agent's client list ID to APS is submitted to IID. When a successful response is received, the agent IID connectivity status is updated. You have now successfully instructed IID to send your linked client's transactions to APS so that APS can in turn make those transactions available to you. Once your agent's client list ID is registered with IID, IID will collate all transactions held in start for the tax types you have linked to your clients and batch them up for secure overnight delivery to APS. After the initial collection by IID, subsequent daily files will include just those new IID transactions that have not previously been delivered to APS. Each day, typically at midnight, your PM11 Cloud Update service connects to APS to check whether any new or updated integration applications need to be retrieved and installed. During April 2019, APS will make the new TDS service available to you. The Cloud Update service will on its next check for changes, download and install the New Zealand Tax TDS application onto your Cloud Update Services server. When logged on to your nominated Cloud Update Services server, system administrators can use a local web URL to view the information on your installed services. In this example, you can see, in addition to the core PM services, the Reckon APS NZ Tax TDS application version 1.0.13 has been installed. The IID Transactions page in the Tax Admin console now combines both TORS-sourced and TDS-sourced transactions into a single list. TDS transactions have new transaction types assigned when compared with TORS transactions. With the initial take-on of TDS transactions, there will be many duplicates of existing TORS-sourced transactions. Where possible, those duplicates are automatically tagged as discarded. Thanks again for taking time to view this video. We trust you have found it informative.